Hey guys, welcome back. I got another German here in the shop. It's a 2001 Audi A4 Quattro with the 2.8 liter V6. Fine European automobile. But it's actually a classic, what I call a Russian rebuild. You know, these guys here in State College, they buy up these German cars and, you know, kind of modify them, make them look cool, and what you get is, you know, your Home Depot mesh body moldings and 18-inch wheels that don't like curbs. This thing's here for inspection, so see, this won't pass. And you know how much these tires cost? Well, I think more than the owner wants to pay, but hey, initially, this is my friend's car. Actually, he's in grad school here at Penn State, and when he went to look at this car, he called me up just to get a second opinion, and I looked at it, and right from the get-go, I told him, oh yeah, it's going to be a money pit. I mean, what can you expect from a 15-year-old German car that's been molested, to say, you know, lightly. So, but anyways, he thought it looked cool, so he went ahead and bought it. And well, since then, it's, like I said, it's been a money pit. But for me, it's been a learning experience. Now, at least he's got the 5-speed, you know, manual, quattro. It's fun in the snow, I won't lie. But you know, what have I done to this car? Oh man, the last few years, it's timing belt job where the whole front end has to come off. I put in a clutch, so had the transmission dropped, and I don't have a lift, so you can only imagine how how fun that experience was. But he's got a new clutch now, new brakes, and now it's here for inspection, and I see he's hit the curb a couple times, so I said, you know what, get yourself a set of stock OEM wheels and forget about this garbage. I mean, last time he was here for a brake job, and you see these holes I have marked with X's. Those bolts in there were seized into the hub, they're rusted in, and the special socket, I mean, there's no room around those bolts. It's a really thin socket, special socket that goes around those, and nothing would work. Impact, the socket just snapped in half. So, and you can't get an extractor on there. So I had to just down and dirty drill those bolts out, and that takes time. So, you know, that was an expense for him, but you know, we got the wheel off. But it was like 3 hours to get one wheel off. Kind of ridiculous, right? So if you're thinking these wheels look cool, think again. Your pocketbook will tell you otherwise. So, I mean, that doesn't pass inspection. It's completely bent. Same with this right here. That's a shame, but yeah, I think for a set of these low profile, I don't know what profile these are, 40s. So for a set of these tires, you can get a whole set of stock wheels and tires and still have money left over. But anyways, for today, I wanted to take the opportunity to check engine lights on, and I'll show you what the code is, and I want to do an experiment here because, you know, why let a learning opportunity pass by? So I'll show you what that is. So why I wanted to make a video on this Audi in the first place is check engine lights on, and the 3 codes stored are, let's see, warm up cat bank 1, efficiency below threshold, that's P0421. Then bank 1 O2 sensor correction behind catalyst control limit reached. So I guess it's using a downstream sensor to control the fuel trims in some fashion. And then bank 1 sensor 2 responds to slow, P0139 intermittent. So these all have to do with bank 1 sensor 2, the one behind the cat. And the history with this car is initially it had codes for the catalyst efficiency on both banks. So what we did was, and here in PA, we don't have to, the check engine light doesn't really matter. As long as your gas cap is good, then you're good to go, at least in Center County. But what we did was we installed little spacers on the downstream O2 sensors, and that helped for a little bit, but then his check engine light came back on, and his the flex pipes on both banks actually blew out. Kind of one was worse than the other. So one of them I repaired on bank 2. So that leak was before the catalytic converter, and obviously upstream of the sensor. So now we just have a problem remaining on bank 1, and that flex pipe is also blown. I mean, I'll start it up, you'll hear it. So what I want to do is take a look at these oxygen sensors, the activity. We'll warm it up, we'll see how they react, and after I weld in a new flex pipe, or the other option is to get a whole new down pipe, flex pipe, cat assembly, which is like $400 a bank, and obviously this car is not worth that much. so we're gonna try to go the cheap route, but we'll see if we can fix these codes and what the data looks like just by replacing that flex pipe. We'll see how an exhaust leak upstream of the cat affects the system. So we'll get our data PIDs up, and we'll start it up and see what the O2 sensors look like before and after the new flex pipe is put in. So I had to go into OBD2 mode because Audi wouldn't give me the oxygen sensor voltages for all 4 in OEM mode. But here we have bank 1 sensor 1 volts, bank 1 sensor 2, bank 2 sensor 1, bank 2 sensor 2. So that's the guy we're worried about. And down here I have the long and short term field trims, so we'll take a look at those too. Let me start the car up. We'll let these guys do their thing. Here's the exhaust leak down here. Sounds like a mean machine. So looking at our data, you can see they start out at about half a volt bias voltage, and then the sensor 1s are dropping down. That's good. So I'll rev it up a little bit to speed up the warm-up process here. I'll get you a shot once it's warmed up. Now it's interesting to note that here there is short-term field trim bank 1, your standard short-term. Then there's short-term field trim bank 2 sensor 1 and bank 1 sensor 1. Now, why they do that, I have no idea. But, well, let's keep watching here. So our upstreams are doing great. And those sensors are actually new. I did put them in maybe a year or 2 ago. Let's look at our... So our downstreams are not active yet. They're still hovering around that half a volt mark. I'll get you a shot once those wake up. Alright, so the downstream sensors are awake now. And just comparing them. Bank 1 sensor 2 seems to be stuck lean here, unless you peg the throttle, and it does respond. So the sensor itself is active, and bank 2 sensor 2 seems to be doing a lot more. At idle right now it's actually going up and down, but obviously not as fast as the upstreams. So that's why we're getting our slow response code for bank 1. See, it's just pegged lean, except for that little spike there. So we know the oxygen sensor works, it's not disconnected or anything. So bank 2 is happy, I think before I put the defouler in there, before fixing the flex pipe, it was kind of all over the place, but now it's pretty steady while the upstream is doing exactly what it should be. Let me raise the RPM a little bit. So we have a slow change in bank 2, and bank 1 seems to be not doing too much at all. Couple snaps there. So bank 1, jumped up momentarily, but otherwise it stays lean. Alright, well, I guess we'll just take a shot of the data after I get this flex pipe welded in. So I'll see you in about 4 hours or so. Hey guys, just wanted to give you a kind of halfway there shot of what's going on with this flex pipe. So it just kind of broke off when I took this piece off here. That's where the downstream sensor is. So this is the second cat, which is not monitored, but the upstream cat is. So you can see it actually has been previously welded here. So the flex pipe, this is the third one, I guess, and I don't know what happened there. They probably forgot to turn on their shielding gas, but looks kind of kind of crusty. There's the other piece down in here. Got this baby out, so we can still see that there is a catalyst material in there. It hasn't been gutted or anything. That's where the upstream sensor goes. There's the remains of the flex pipe. But to get this off, let's see, it's 6 now. I think I started at 4. So just to get that pipe out is about 2 hours of labor, and I'll show you why. So working from under the hood, well, to even get this space open, you have to get your fuel lines out of the way, all these connectors, the air pipe, the air injection valve. That was a little pain in the ass, but then that's just to get to this top nut here. You know, it has three studs holding it in. There's the flange, and just like I ran into when I did the other side, I'll show you underneath here. Sometimes it'd be nice to have a lift, but so there is where the pipe goes through, and I'm pretty sure to put it back in we're going to need to take this engine mount off. But there's the flange, and well, you can see one of the studs that was already replaced before I got here snapped off again. So that's going to be fun to figure out what to do there. I'm pretty sure it's not coming out, so I'm going to have to drill and improvise like I did on the other side. You can see right here, I had to replace the same one, the lower stud. So additional labor time, and well, guess that's how it goes, huh? Alright, we'll be back. Alright guys, got this Audi A4 buttoned back up after the exhaust flex pipe replacement. So this is all back together down there, the flange, and I did replace the flange bolt right, let's see, right there, you can see it. Stainless steel hardware, since I'm probably going to be the next guy taking this off, so I don't want that to rust in again and go through the pains of drilling it out. You know, I tried welding a nut on there, that just kept breaking off. Torch, nothing helped, so I had to drill out the old stud and re-tap the hole. So anyways, here's the new flex pipe. Beauty. Welds look a lot better than than the previous tech who did that. So here we have our downstream oxygen sensors. So in bank 2, the one that did not have codes, you can see there's a spacer installed to you know, kind of trick the computer so the catalyst efficiency code doesn't come back. Now this one does not have a spacer right now. So what we're going to do is start up the car, look at OBD2 oxygen sensor data, and see how this sensor reacts. Now if it's too active, meaning it kind of follows the upstream, then we'll try putting in a spacer and see if that makes it more, you know, not switch as often, to prevent the P04, was it 21 or 23 code from coming back. So anyways, let's start up the car and look at our data. So the battery was disconnected, so we shouldn't have any trouble codes to begin with. Let's take a look at that, and then we'll do a custom data list. P0139, oxygen sensor, cell response. Huh. Interesting. So I just ran the car for a minute there. So let's see, let's go back. Let's go to our current data. Alright, so custom display. Deselect all. Let's just focus on our O2 sensors, short-term and long-term field trims. That's all I'm interested in. List view. So let's just graph the oxygen sensors here. Okay. Bank 1, sensor 1, bank 1, sensor 2. So this is the one we're worried about. And then bank 2, sensor 1, bank 2, sensor 2. So we had no problems with those when we started this project. So let's start her up. So our upstream should react quickly. You can see there they go. They're starting to oscillate. I'm going to rev it up a little bit, help it warm up. Now bank, let's see, so bank 1 looks like it's starting to oscillate. Bank 2 is still lean. Now remember, this car has the secondary air injection system. You can hear the pump running, so... Oh, you know what? I forgot to connect the vacuum line. Be right back. So as you saw there, bank 2, it was going lean because the secondary air injection system was working. And bank 1, I forgot to connect the actual air valve, and it was not going lean, so that might have caused that initial code there. So let's start it back up and redo the test. Alright, so the downstream sensors are active. So we can see bank 2, the one with the spacer, does switch less, and the one without the spacer, it almost follows the upstream, and that's why you would get a catalyst efficiency code. But at idle, it seems to be, this one's holding steady at showing rich, so that means the catalyst is doing something. This one, it's a little more noisy, but it's not, it's not following the upstream exactly. So it might set a code later, or we could put a spacer now and just not worry about it. But fixing that exhaust leak, remember before, the bank 1 sensor 2 was just fixed lean all the way, unless you flutter the throttle, then once in a while it would get a spike, but it was fixed lean before. So the flex pipe had a lot to do with those initial codes. So yeah, maybe we'll take it for a test drive, but we can call this one mostly fixed. Thanks for watching. I'm holding the RPMs up around 2,500, 3,000, and the difference here is what might make the code pop up or not. See, the amplitude here is not that big. Here we're getting a lot more activity on the bank 1 sensor too, so yeah, I might put that spacer in just to avoid any codes coming up in the future. So I put that spacer in on bank 1 sensor 2, and now we're going to compare it to bank 2 sensor 2 and see if our data looks a little more stable to avoid any catalyst efficiency codes. And you can see it's actually, this is when the oxygen sensor is warming up, and it's almost identical to bank 2 sensor 2. Rev it up a little bit. So you can see there's a little more activity still on bank 1 sensor 2, but let's watch it for a little bit at idle, see if it stabilizes out. I mean, I think it's better than it was before. The only way to know is take it for a test drive and see if the check engine light comes back on. But I'm happy with this fix. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching.